As she said, one of my jobs is I'm an academic advisor down at the Counseling and Student Development Office, which is room 107. Some of you I know I've worked with before. It's right down first floor main building. So what we do there is typically we advise you on what courses to take, policies, procedures, things of that type of stuff, okay? So what you're going to find out, since this is a College 101 course, how to be successful in college, we're going to talk a little bit about that here in a minute. But I guess the main thing I want to get across to you is that this is a little bit different than, you know, your high school years, in that you have to be your own advocate. When you were in high school, you probably had teachers, you had administrators that were kind of looking out for you a little bit, telling you what to do, and also you weren't allowed to pick your own courses, right? That's kind of the big thing. I know that you had an assignment due today where you had to kind of get your worksheet right for the degree plan. Okay. That's a pretty good tool for you to use in order to determine what to take next semester. And from now on, you can kind of plan it out. Okay, you can look at it. Well, this semester I'm taking these courses. Well, what do I got to take next semester? You can kind of plan it out. So I'm going to give you another tool, and this tool is pretty useful. You can do a lot of different things with it. It's your My NMSU account, and a lot of you come into my office and you've never even opened your My NMSU account, but maybe once before. Okay? It's pretty important. And the reason being is because there's a couple things I want you to look at. So once you log into your My NMSU account like I've done here, one of the biggest tools you can use to determine what you want to take and what you still need to get this degree is called the degree audit, right? So you'll log in, you'll hit this student tab, and then this menu will pop up. And then you're just going to click on this degree audit, which I've already done because I had to figure out my password since it wasn't working earlier. You'll just click on students, and then you can do either your 800 number or you can do your name, which is what I'm going to do.
Has anyone used this function before?
I figured it out yesterday.
That's good. That's you're ahead of the curve, bud. That's a good job. All right, so I'm looking for myself. Here I am. Okay. No, I don't want this password saved. So then I just click on it, and then it brings me up another option, okay? So it says run selected program. Yeah. College. Okay, so you're going to pick Carlsbad. I don't know if I want you to see my undergrad grades. I'm more comfortable with my graduate grades, so I'm just going to throw that up there. My undergrad, I had some pretty rough semesters. So tough times.
Okay.
Some tough times in Las Cruces. In those days, you could go to Juarez. Did that quite a bit. So there you go. Okay, so I'm getting a master's right now in education, but I don't think mine's actually on this thing. So I'm just going to pick up anything, right? So let's see, master's in art history. Let's see what I would need to continue to get my master's in art history if I was actually going for that. So I shouldn't really have anything done in it. But you see the little pie chart tells me that I'm finished with it. That's incorrect. Okay? But you can see my GPA, which I'm pretty proud of, because my undergrad GPA was not a 4.0, as you could imagine. So it tells me what I need to choose from here. It says art history courses, 27 credits. Okay, and then you got to do your art, your thesis. You know what? And then this is what I've done so far. And then this is my last course, which I'm pretty excited about. You know what? I'm just gonna do it because I'm gonna do another one for you, but using. I'm just gonna let you see my undergrad grades. Why not? So let's say I'm doing education. So I'm getting an associated education. Let's see what I've got, what I've taken, and what I still need. I should be pretty close to getting that done since I got a bachelor's in education at one time. As you can see here, my GPA was a little less than a 4.0. And I haven't completed College 101, which I did though, because it was called something else in the old days when I took it. And you'll see under English, I'm still missing something. What am I missing? I'm missing English 211. So in order to complete this program, I'd have to do English 211. I would need one more math, it looks like. What am I missing in math? No, I'm done in math because math 120 used to be called 115 back in the old days. As you can see, my science is done, my social science and culture is done, history is done, blah, blah, blah. My professional education courses, they're finished. Associate in education elective is done. Okay, here's my excessive courses. This means that I've taken a lot more courses than I actually needed. And then here you get to my other stuff, like courses not earning academic credit. As you see, I got some F's in there. Got some W's.
And yet you can still recover from those.
That's a good lesson for you to learn. One bad semester doesn't make or break you, right? You can have bad semesters, which I did. It looks like spring of 2001 was pretty rough, and I kind of recall that semester because I believe I was living in a fraternity house at that moment. So that was a kind of a tough semester on me. It looks like all of 2001 was pretty much a waste of my life.
Same.
2000 looks pretty bad too. So you can see that's a pretty good tool to determine like what you still need and what you've taken. So you can go through this thing and you can kind of determine on what courses you want to take for the spring, right? So it's a pretty good tool. Also, another thing I want to kind of touch on that a lot of you don't use that you should is your My NMSU email, which it's not apparently going to let me access.
Reload.
Yeah, well, let's see. I don't want to do this. I don't know if it's going to do anything. I don't know. We're going to see. No, it's not going to let me. But anyways, your My NMSU email should be over here where my cursor is. Oh, there it is. There it is. Okay, so we've got the email right there. You just click on that, it'll open it up. I don't know if I should because who knows what's in there. And then this yellow one, this yellow book is how you do your online courses. So if any of you are taking online, which I typically don't recommend for my freshmen that come in, but if you came in late or if you have to because of your work schedule or whatever, then you might be taking an online course. So if you click on the little yellow tab, that's your Canvas, and it's going to send you to where you're going to actually do your coursework for your online stuff, right?
Also, those of you who are getting financial aid, it's not like when Jesse and I were undergrads where the financial aid office sends you traditional mail and you get it in your mailbox. They send you all your messages through My NMSU. So if you're waiting on your financial aid and you don't really know what's going on with it, you click the financial aid tab. And if you have any messages from the financial aid office, like you have to submit documents, they need your signature, they need your parent's signature, those messages will be in that tab. So it's important that you check that if you're still waiting for financial aid. Or you're curious about what your award package is.
Great advice. Also, remember that your My NMSU email is typically where your instructors are going to contact you. So that's a good thing to do also is to look at it every once in a while. I would suggest to look at it at least once a week. Okay, so here we are on this Canvas type stuff. And you see courses, it's pretty self-explanatory once you mess around with it for a while. You can see that this is the course I'm taking this semester, and then I've got something due on Sunday. So it's pretty, it's pretty easy to use. Here's my assignments, grades. One thing you want to always do is look for the syllabus when you look at this stuff. Look at the course's syllabus. So here's this guy's syllabus. He kind of uses a little different format than a lot of my other instructors have used, but it's pretty simple. And once you play around with it, mess with it for a little while, you'll get the hang of it, no sweat. Okay? So that's kind of some stuff some tools I wanted to give you to help you succeed in the future, right? And then also to help you if you want to look and plan out what courses you want to take next semester. And then, sometimes, I think that's good, yeah. And then we've talked a little bit about prereqs in the last couple of classes that I've taught. And prereqs, remember certain courses, it just kind of depends on what course it is, requires certain prereqs. And we talked a little bit about the Compass exam. The Compass exam, you can take it as many times as you want, guys. There's some help for you up in the Team Center if you want to do a little bit of tutoring before you take it again. If you take the Compass exam and you test out of certain courses, it's only going to save you time, money, effort. So it's important that you remember that you're not stuck in these developmental courses, really. If you want to, there's a way out. You could go up to the Team Center, talk to Terry. He could hook you up with this thing called Play-Doh. It's a computer program where you can kind of mess around and work on some English, math skills, and then perhaps, take the Compass again and then hopefully test out, right? So just be aware those are the options for you. Okay. Prereqs also, like if you're in the nursing program, they require certain prereqs to get into the program. They only take apps every May, so you need to look at that kind of stuff. And probably before you do anything, talk to an advisor about that kind of stuff too. And once you get the hang of it, then you can kind of do it on your own. That's kind of some stuff to go over real quick. My real job here is, like Dr. Marion said, I'm the ADA coordinator. ADA is legislature passed by Congress that ensures that people with disabilities will not be overlooked, will not be kept from going to college and pursuing higher education. Okay? It's called Americans with Disabilities Act. It was instituted in 1990, okay, for a long time. It's kind of bunched with the Civil Rights Act of the 1960s, but it took a lot longer to get that actually passed through Congress. So what we saw from the beginning of higher ed up till 1990, as persons with physical, psychological disabilities weren't given the same chance as a lot of other people, right? So it's been enacted in order to make sure that everybody has equal rights. Okay? It's there to equalize everything for those students. Does it guarantee success? No, not at all, right? It's just there to help them if they need it. So the way it kind of works, if you have a documented disability, it's got to be documented. You come into my office and you tell me you have a disability and it's not documented, there's only one person that even does that kind of testing in Carlsbad. His name's Mark Hamill. Costs about $450. There are some other things you can do. If you have a mental disability, you could see the mental health. You could talk to one of our colleagues whose name is Honor Medina. She works through the health clinic. You could go make an appointment, see her, and then she can also do some diagnosing as well. So there's some things that you can do. If you have a learning disability, that's typically what I see the most here on campus is learning disabilities. You can have that in reading, English, or whatever the case may be. As long as it's documented, bring your documentation in to me. We'll fill out some forms, and then we'll kind of work together to determine what kind of accommodations are going to help you the most, right? What's going to help you the most succeed in that course? And typically, it's extra time on tests and quizzes. If you have a physical disability, we can do a number of different things. We can get audio books for you. I mean, there's a lot of different things I can do. I just can't do it without some kind of document that states what your disability is. There's two reasons. One is I have to have something to go on, right? When I'm looking at when I'm looking at what kind of steps I can take to help you. And then two, it's just kind of policy of my office that I have some kind of documentation on you, okay? And what happens is I make a little folder with your stuff in there. I put it away in my file cabinet. I lock it up. Nobody sees it. Nobody knows. And then once we've gotten all that stuff done, the next step is I'll write you a letter. Well, it's really typed. I'll type out letters to each of your instructor. You hand it to them, and then that's the accommodations they have to follow to ensure that you're getting equal treatment. under the law, right? And if you have any issues with your instructors, I'm there to mediate or to file a grievance for you on your behalf. So I'm really like your advocate. But one thing I want to stress for you guys with or without disabilities is to advocate for yourself. You know yourself better than anybody else on campus will. It's your career, it's your college, right? It's your experiences. So you need to stay in touch with your instructors. You need to have a rapport with them. And if you do all that, you're going to be successful. Another thing I like to talk about the other classes that I've talked to about is some ways that you can actually succeed in college. And they're pretty simple, and they're also pretty common sense. Like one, go to class, right? If you don't go to class like I did in 2000 and 2001, you're probably not going to pass. Number two, if you don't turn in your work, you're probably not going to pass. So those are the two biggest pieces of advice I can give you for passing your college courses, is go to class and turn in your work. So it's pretty common sense, right? If you don't do that, you're not going to pass. Anything else I didn't touch on?
No. Anybody have any questions about anything that he talked on?
Anything at all would be, now's the time.
About advising, the My NMSU, ADA, anything. Degree plans, classes. I understand that there's not a registration hold now that they're in classes for this spring.
The only registration hold you'll have now is if you don't make a 2.0 or above on your GPA. And that's another good thing you brought up, is the lottery scholarship. Remember, if you're right now, if this is the first semester out of high school and you're taking full-time, which is 12 credit load, and you make a 2.5 or better, you're eligible for the lottery next semester. But you have to maintain that full-time status in 12 credits per semester.
So
I can't think of anything else.
registration for the spring will be at the end of November.
Yeah, it'll be probably that time right after Thanksgiving, I think, is when they typically have it. So what you can do from now till then is you can kind of come up with a plan. What do you want to take? Okay, math. I think I forgot to tell your morning classes. Math is the most important thing I see that determines if you graduate on time or not. I've got students that are so scared of math. I hated math too. I don't know if you noticed on my transcripts, but I started in CCDM 103, which is almost the lowest level math, just because I didn't really pay attention in high school, kind of messed around. And then when I took the Compass or the ACT, I don't remember what I did, but I didn't score very well in math. So I had to start off at one of the very bottom courses and then work my way up. And it took me, I think, 3 or 4 times to pass math at 120 or something like that. So start on math right away and then continue getting until you get through it. That's my best advice to get through this stuff. Don't wait, because if you wait, what I had last semester is I had a student come in and he completed everything. The only thing he was lacking was his math, and he hadn't taken a math course at all. And he tested into CCDM 100, which is our lowest math. So then he's going to go 100, 103, 112, 113, 120, 121, and then one other, stat 251 or something. So that's like 5 more semesters he had to take just because he didn't do his math. So do your math, get that stuff going, and then go to class and do your work, and you should be okay. I can't think of anything else that I need to talk to him about.
No? Okay, thank
If
you.
you have any issues, come see me. I'll help you, okay? All right, have a good day, guys.